Almost all the colligative properties have the Van 't Hoff factor in them, I. It's an extremely important one to calculate because sometimes the question is just based on Van 't Hoff factor. It's the first recipient of Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Now, when you want to calculate Van 't Hoff factor, it's very simple. When you take a solute, you put it in a given solvent. Most of the time the solvent is water. When you put it in there, how many effective particles you get for every one particle that you put? For example, I take urea. I put urea. One molecule of urea gives me only one molecule of a species in the solution. Whereas when I put one molecule of NaCl, I get two molecules of ions, Na and Cl. So I value is 2. So this is very straightforward. Now there are two cases you can have: association and dissociation. Association is when, for example, n molecules of A combine to give you a dimer, trimer. So if it is 2As, give you A2. Okay. This is going to decrease the I value. So I for association is less than 1. When you take dissociation, basically you can have, let's say, NaCl, easier example. NaCl gives you Na plus Cl minus. So I value is greater than 1 for dissociation. Now what about percent association, percent dissociation? They can actually combine this question with coordination chemistry or equilibrium. Now how can you calculate? Let's say Na gives you An. We start with one molecule of A. If I start with one molecule of A, alpha of this undergoes association, meaning out of one molecule only part of them goes association. So how much will I get? N amount of A will give you An molecules. So alpha will give you alpha by N. Okay. N gives you 1. Alpha will give you alpha by N. N gives you N by N. Correct? N gives you N by N. Alpha will give you alpha by N. So what is the total molecules? Total is nothing but I. You just add all of them. 1 minus alpha plus alpha by N. This is going to be a association. Now when you see alpha is bigger than alpha by N, so this number is always going to be lower than 1. So this is always lower than 1. Dissociation. For example, let's say K2SO4 goes to 2K plus SO4 2 minus. So one molecule will give me two molecule of this and one molecule of that. Okay. So what is left is, none of this will be left if it is 100%. You can take it this way. Okay. None of this will be left. I get two of that and one of that. What if it is not 100%? Then I can say 1 minus alpha. I don't know the percentage, they will give you the percentage, 1 minus alpha. So 1 gives you 2, only alpha is being used up. So I'll get 2 alpha. And this will be alpha. So the total would be 1 minus alpha plus 2 alpha plus alpha equals 1 plus 2 alpha. So in general, for any given solute, okay, I equals 1 plus n minus 1 alpha. What is n is nothing but the number of particles you expect if it is 100% dissociated. If it is 100% dissociated, I should get 2 plus 1, 3. 3 minus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 alpha. For example, K4 FeCN6. So I should get 4 plus 1, 5. So I value is 5 if it is 100% dissociated. If it is less than 100% dissociated, I value is 1 plus 4 alpha. Straightforward. I can also do Al2SO4 thrice. Same. I equals 5, 100%, less than 100%, I equals 1 plus 4 alpha. This is straightforward how to calculate I value. Now what are the type of questions you can get from I value is, in your colligative properties, they can ask you the molar mass of solute, but you have to calculate I, knowing what the compound is given. Or reverse, they will give you everything, they'll ask you the I value. So that's one way of using the I value. So they will combine 3 chapters together. Solutions can be combined with your coordination chemistry and ask you the nature of the solute. For example, I can give you a set of mathematical data, Kf can be given, delta Tf is given, M is given. So you can calculate I value. Once you calculate I value, they can ask you which among the following could be the compound. If I comes out to be, let's say 5, this could be a compound. That's one way of calculating. Second way of calculating is giving you everything, asking you what is the percent it is dissociated, meaning they are asking you alpha. Alpha is fraction times 100 will give you percentage. We'll do numericals based on that. When you calculate your freezing point depression, boiling point elevation, all those, even osmotic pressure, they actually don't relate to just the solvent solute relationship alone, they also depend on the I value. So whatever you're going to get is always going to be dependent on the I value. So now you can actually relate the I value to the colligative property. Now all of your colligative property, pi equals ICRT. So pi is proportional to I. Your delta T equals K times M times I. So delta T is proportional to I value. So the I value is always proportional to the colligative property you are measuring. So you can write this as I equals the observed colligative property, meaning what you actually got in the experiment, divided by normal. Normal is calculated. So these can be given differently. Okay. Observed can also be asked as, I expect a colligative property, but because of the I value difference in reality, I get different value. So observed can also be used by the different name, abnormal. Observed is same as abnormal or what he calculated experimentally. Okay. So observed is experimental or abnormal as well. Normal can also be calculated mathematically. Okay. Be very careful, these are all exactly same, just using different words. Now all of your colligative property, if you see, for example, delta T equals Kf times M times I. The M, if you expand, you always have your molecular mass on the bottom. So the colligative property is inversely proportional to molecular mass in all the formulas, even osmotic pressure. So if it's inversely proportional, colligative property is inversely proportional. I is directly proportional to observed colligative property, meaning I is inversely proportional to observed molecular mass. So just the opposite of this. Normal molecular mass means what you expect, what you calculate on a piece of paper. Observed molecular mass is what you got. You can also call it as abnormal molar mass because it is not normal, or it can also be experimental molar mass because I do experiment, not a paper calculation, I do experiment. So this is also something you want to know. Otherwise, I value is always going to be straightforward, but I cannot stress that it is simple, but it comes every year and people do make a mistake because of doing it fast. So make sure that you give its due diligence and make sure that you do it a little bit slow. Doing a tough problem, okay, and getting the answer might be really satisfying for you. Doing an easy problem might not be satisfying, okay, but still they are both 4 points. So it is better to make sure that you put your due diligence and make your answers right. Okay. This is the end of your solutions chapter. The what's only pending is we will solve a couple of previous year problems to boost your confidence. You will see a repeating pattern over and over again. You will see some of the things clearly by solving the previous year pattern. Okay. The patterns are pretty much similar. The questions are going to be around the same formulas. All these are positives. The negative will be math. You have to be strong in math and you have to know how to approximate numbers. If you do that, solution chapter is a high weighted chapter, easy chapter, anybody can score. Good luck guys.